cold. How you doing? What's going on? Welcome to the replay. Welcome to Daily Fuel. My name is Bobby. And I am the host of this group, Spiritual by Fuel Blue. And Daily Fuel. I have so many intentions to do Daily Fuel daily, like every weekday. That's what I would really like to do, and I'm going to really try to do that now. I've been working on some things, and man, it's just been it's been a couple of months, where I've really started to put some things together, and I'm just. The essence of it is just coming together for me, and I'm very, very excited about it. So Daily Fuel. Yeah, let's do this daily, all right? That's what I want to do. I always say, I just want to do this. I just love doing this. So let's run this group. Let's do this thing. Let's build these art lives, and let's go. So if you're watching in the replay, let me know you're in the replay, and say hello. Write a comment if you want. You don't have to. It's not a requirement in this group. You're allowed to lurk. That's totally fine. I get it. It's cool. But, if you're there and you're watching, I feel like something's bugging me. If you're there and you're watching and you do want to write a comment, let me know. It lets me know that people are watching. It makes me feel good, and I can go to sleep smiling. So that's always nice. And if you're joining me live, then please start commenting. You can comment the entire time that I'm talking. If you're new to Daily Fuel, I've got my spiel. I've got this thing I want to talk about today. And pretty much while I'm doing that, I ignore all of the comments. You can keep writing, and I am not going to read them. I'm not going to do anything. But when I'm done with my spiel, I go back and I read all the comments. Every single one of them. So, and usually that sparks whole new discussions, and that's like 3/4 of the show sometimes. So let me see. Who do we got? We got some people here. Nathan's here. Hey man, happy Easter. Hey. How you doing? Look, I'm already out of breath. Kelly is here. Hi, Kelly. Hooray, Daily Fuel. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Hardists. There you go. That's nice. Hello, says Hector. That's just one general hello for everybody. I don't get my own hello. Whatever, dude. That's cool. Hi, how are you? And Karina is here. Hello, Bobby. Look, I said your name first. There, see, Hector? That's how you do it. This is how. Okay? Thank you, Karina. You get a gold star today. Hello, everyone else. And Nathan, as one candle can light another, so dude, I'm going to read this later. You're going to get my brain all turned to mush before I even get going on this thing. So we're probably past 2 minutes, right? Well, we're past 3 minutes. I'm just going to start. I'm now ignoring you people, and I'll read more comments at the end. Here we go. It's very cold today. Take out the head trash. Take it out. Pick it up. Put it in a bag. Throw it out the door. Or wherever you put your garbage that the garbage man. Do we still say garbage man? Like, in my whole life, I don't think I've ever seen a garbage woman. I've never seen that. Have you? I haven't. I'm sure they exist. I've just never seen one. A lot of times, like when I was a kid, it was fireman and policeman, and right, because I'm older than you probably. And now it's it's person or firefighter or police officer, right? But it's still garbage man. I guess women. You don't have to pick up the garbage from the street. That's just not fun. Anyway, I don't know why I went off on that, because they almost said garbage man. I was like, that sounds not 2022-ish. But I don't know. Was that still what we call it? Garbage collector, right? Anyway, take it out of your head and put it by the curb and let the garbage collector take it away. What am I talking about, you may be asking? The last time I did a Daily Fuel, I did one called We Love Our Head Trash. And head trash is the crap that we believe that sort of dictates your life. You believe it. You don't want to believe it, probably, and in many times you don't even know that you believe it. You don't even know that this is a program that you run in your head that dictates how you do and defines you and how you do things. Oh, that's why it's called head trash. It's in your head and it's garbage. We gotta get it out. Once it's out, I don't care what you do with it. Taking it to the curb and the sex of the gender of the garbage collector is completely irrelevant. As long as it's out of your head, it doesn't matter what you do with it. We have these things that we believe. You may have been taught them in school by your parents, usually by well-meaning people, right? Here's a really great example of head trash, especially coming for somebody like me from the world of sales and business. But this can apply to non-sales and business things as well. When you're a kid, most of the grown-ups in your life want to keep you safe. So what do they teach us? Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. And then guess what happens? You grow up, and being a grown-up kind of forces you to talk to strangers. Like, if you can't talk to strangers, you can't make sales. You can't say hello to the person you have a crush on. You can't order things at stores sometimes. It's like, I don't know about you, but I don't even like asking people for help. If I'm in a store and I can't find something, I don't like asking for help. I have some kind of head trash that doesn't want to talk to that person. I don't know what it is, and I know about it, and I work around it, and I practice it. But if I don't have to, I will find this thing myself before I ask that person. But that's really hard when you're like in sales or something like that, because you've got to make calls. You have to talk to people. You have to ask people for money. Forget about talking to strangers. How about talking to strangers and asking them for shit? That's hard to do when it's been drilled in your head. So imagine for so many people, this idea of don't talk to strangers has been drilled into your head from the time you were like 3 feet tall to now, when you're taller, I assume. And now you have to adult with this head trash. And that's just one. I mean, there are millions, right? There are so many things that we're taught as a kid, and some of them are these platitudes to keep you safe as a child, but a lot of them are just like, you can't do that. You don't have the skills for that, or that's not a practical thing to do. An artist? You can't be an artist when you grow up. Artists they starve. You can't make money being an artist. And then these are the head trashes that live in your head, and they dictate what you do for the rest of your life. They really do. And whether you want them to or not, whether you know that they are there or not. And so I just did an entire Daily Fuel on what head trash is once again. But let's do today's Daily Fuel, shall we? Which is take it out. Take out that head trash. Get it out to the curb. Let the garbage person take it. Not put it in their head, but put it in the dump where it belongs. And I've got my 3 things about how we can do this. And it's really not as hard as you would imagine. Because I think what a lot of people do is they're like, oh my God, I have this belief, and now I have to fight this belief. You don't. You don't have to. Knowing that you have head trash, and once you identify a specific kind of head trash that you might have, that's like 3/4 of the battle right there. There's really not much more to do. So, you know what? I'm going to, now that I've just said that, I realize I didn't write a number 1 that kind of I would want to, I am thinking and speaking about 2 different things at the same time, and words come out of my mouth that don't even make sense to me. So I'm going to start this over. Here are my 3 things about how to take out the head trash. Okay, number 1 is to practice new thoughts. Once you understand that I've got this head trash that stops me from doing this thing, you don't have to identify it and go to therapy on it and talk about it and think about it and write about it and art about it. You don't have to do shit about it. You don't have to ever think about it again if you don't want to. You can literally start rewriting the programming in your head. If you don't like trash, think of it as programming, right? If you're a computer person, you can think of it as like a computer program, something that is in your head, that if your head were a computer, which it is, and right, well, your brain is, and not the whole head. Can I say I'm in a mood today? Okay, I am in a mood. So these comments, you guys are gonna knock me on my ass today with the comments. I know it already. I can feel it coming. I'm so giddy in a mood today. Anyway, so whatever analogy you like, trash, programming, whatever. You don't have to figure out how to rewrite the programming. You don't have to actually figure out where all the trash is in the basement and collect it into a bag. You can just like paint over it. You can just write a new program right over it. And how do you do that? Well, you can do all the kinds of different energy work that we like to do. You can visualize stuff. You can talk about new things. Make sure that you're talking about things you like rather than things that are the head trash. You can write it down. You can write scripts. You can do vision boards if that's your thing. And of course, we can use our superpower. We can use our art. If you're a painter and you recognize some kind of head trash, maybe start doing some self-imposed art therapy. And it doesn't have to just be a painter, but you could paint a picture of your new program, of the new thing that you want to believe. I don't necessarily believe this yet as it applies to me, but I'm going to paint a picture of it. I'm going to write a story about it. I'm going to start singing about it. I'm going to sculpt something that reminds me of it. It doesn't have to be anything that any other human being on Earth or anywhere else would recognize as that thing. It can just be something that you know the process of making it, or you can look at it when you need to, or you can listen to it again when you need to, whatever. It's something where you're creating new thoughts, a new habit of thought to allow you to erase that old head trash and create new head not trash. I don't know what the opposite of trash is. Good things, right? So I don't know what the opposite of trash is. So that's number one, is practice new thoughts. Now, that might sound like I need to eradicate this head trash. So, number two, because on some days you can't think of better thoughts. You can't think of new things. Sometimes that head trash is just prominent. And sometimes your ego is just going, oh, you suck, right? Sometimes you're having those days. You don't have to go right to the new thoughts. You can just reduce the crappy thinking. You can reduce it. You can lower the volume on it. You don't have to think of anything different. You don't have to think of, if I believe this, what's the opposite of that I can start believing? You don't have to figure that out. If you could just reduce the amount of thoughts that you have that are amplifying that head trash, amplifying those beliefs that are hindering you, then you can eradicate them. Because if you're reducing the amount of thoughts, then the universe, the law of attraction, will help attract to you better thoughts. You don't have to think of them. The law of attraction will just dump them on your head. But if you're thinking of the stuff that is the head trash, if you're constantly just restating it, redefining it, engraving it, whatever, then the law of attraction is just going to say, oh, that's what we're doing? Here's more of that shit. And you're going to reinforce it. That's the word I was looking for. You're going to constantly just reinforce it. So you get to decide, what am I going to reinforce? The stuff I like or the stuff I don't like? And if you can't think of anything that you like, that you would want to reinforce better stuff, just slow down reinforcing the bad things. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to replace sorrow with happiness. You could just tune down the sorrow. You don't have to replace I can't with I can, because you don't believe I can today. So you can just replace I can't with I can't right now. I can't most days. Some days I'm a little better. That's a little better. You're just tuning down the I can't. You're tuning down the I'm a shit. All right, you just lower the volume on that stuff, because then if you can get it down below 50%, then now you've got 51% of not that. And the universe is just going to fill that with good things. You don't have to figure out what you're going to fill it with. So practice better thoughts if you can, or that's one, or reduce the crappy thoughts. Now, here's number 3, which is what comes after 2. I told you, I'm in a mood today. Start small. You don't have to fix your entire, you don't have to empty the entire trash bin in your head on the first day. You don't have to do it ever, really, because you can start small and it will just incrementally add oh God, it's like words. I think of the word 5 words ahead of it, and then by the time it gets to the point where I have to say the word I just thought of that I want to say, it goes, I'm not staying. It's just gone. Anyway, you don't have to start with the biggest program. Oh, I have this inability to talk to people, or I have this belief that I'm not good, or, like the really life-defining head trash. You don't have to start with that. Just start really small. Reduce. And here's how you can start small. You can start small by reducing the crappy thoughts small. I think that it depends on what you're calibrating to every day. Do you know what calibrating means? So it's like if you get a new monitor or something, and you got to calibrate the colors, right? Or your camera, you got to calibrate the colors. That's why photographers will hold up something bright white in front of their camera so that they can make sure that it looks bright white in their camera. Now they know that their camera is calibrated to white. They know what the white looks like in their camera, and then all the other colors come out great, right? You have to calibrate your brain too. It's like, what am I thinking about just on a normal time when I'm not either really sad or bad or depressed, or I'm not all the way down here, but I'm not like all the way up here either. I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm okay. How you doing? I'm good. I'm all right. Just having a day. Right? So what do we do on those days? Because this is where head trash really gets its claws in, is on those days when you're just kind of in the middle. And that's the kind of days where it's like, well, I might be bored, so I'll pick up my phone and just start scrolling through my news feed and, or looking literally at news, right? The news, they got nothing good to say. It doesn't matter if your guy won or lost or a good thing happened or a bad thing happened. They're going to turn it around to make it like the worst thing ever. So whatever you do, that's like the mundane thing you do, you can reduce that. Lower the amount of things you're intaking, right? You don't have to know the headlines every 5 minutes. You don't have to talk to every single person that calls you on the phone. Just because your phone is ringing, you are not required to answer it. You're not. You don't have to talk to your mom or your friend or your sister or your brother or your this or your that or your cousin or the person that just goes, do you have a minute to talk? Because, right now suddenly it's your job to listen to this. But what's this doing? It's making you feel a certain way. And this is the head trash that it just amplifies inside of you, because now you're allowing it from all these other places. So this is what I mean by start small, is you don't have to fix the belief that you have that's been just destroying your life. Oh my God, I have this belief that I am crap. Something to that effect, right? You don't have to fix that on the first day. But you know what you don't also have to do? You don't have to talk to that person, and you don't have to read that thing, and you don't have to look at that show, or you don't have to watch that thing, or you don't have to go to that place. You don't have to do any of those things, because all they're doing is just adding energy and power to the negativity that is already the belief system that you have. It's the food. Oh, I like this. If trash ate food, right? If trash was a thing that ate food, this is what the food is. It's the crap that you read. It's the people that you talk to that don't help you, that don't energize you. You know who I'm talking about. You don't have to let that in all the time. Gossiping, right? That kind of thing. You don't have, if you're finding yourself complaining a lot, then you are feeding that head trash monster. I wish I thought of head trash monster before I did this whole live. That would have been a better analogy. Anyway, those are my 3 things. You can practice new thoughts, you can reduce the negative thoughts, and you can start small. I don't know why I start with my thumb, because then I'm in the wrong thing. And then you can start small. You don't have to fix the whole thing on the first day. You can just cut out the food that you're feeding your head trash, and it'll die. It'll die. It will die. If you know, and you do know, if you're honest with yourself, I can list examples, but I could miss them. I don't know your thing, but you do. And you know that thing that you do that you're just like, I do that, and I know that I do that, and I know that when I do it, I don't feel great afterwards. It makes me emotionally down, or it makes me physically ill, or it makes me this, or it makes me that, but I do it anyway because I'm bored, or I don't know what else to do, or it's just a habit now, or whatever. If you can figure out a way to cut it completely out or reduce it, and here's a good way to do it. If you could cut it completely out, say for 7 days, you don't have to say, like for me, it was stop looking at the news. And I could get addicted to just looking at the news to see, like, oh my God, that person said this. And it's like, I could find my blood boiling. Like, I agree with that, but they're losing. Or I disagree with that, and they're saying it. It's like, what is the point of this? All I'm doing is aggravating myself. It's not helping my life in any way, shape, or form. So I decided as an experiment, I'm going to stop looking at it for 7 days. Just 7 days. I didn't say I'll never look at it again for the rest of my life, because then the next time I look at it, I'm a failure. I'm going to not look at it for 7 days and see what happens. And it's been a few weeks now. So that's what happens. Try that. Figure out what that thing is and see if you can cut it out for 7 days. When I'm in these moods, I over explain things. So look at that. We're at 20 minutes. I'm going to get to the, what's it called? Comments. I see some. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of long ones. All right, I skipped this before because I didn't have the headspace for it, and I doubt I do now, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Nathan says, hang on, Nathan, I need water. Hang on. As one candle can light another, so too can greatness of mind be transferred amongst people. To remain in solitude is to deprive oneself of its own kindling. Oh, this is cool. You know what? Let's flip my thing on its side, right? And I said, don't talk to that person. Don't answer the phone when this one calls, blah, 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 blah. Here's another way to start small. Reach out to that person that you know is uplifting. Reach out to the things that you know are going to boost you a little bit. You know, I try to make this group a place where we can get that. I don't allow anything that is not that in this group. And, you know, it's interesting because I'll act like I'll be like, I'll boot you, I'll kick you out of this group if you're doing that. I hardly ever have to even ask people not to do anything in this group, let alone kick them out for constantly doing it. It's like I've just attracted people into this group who are just awesome. And you're either quiet or you're adding to the energy that we're trying to build here. So find a thing that is that boosts you, even if it only boosts you a little bit. You know, I might say don't watch the news, but maybe there's a show you like that. For me, it's Doctor Who, right? I'm a nerd. Deal with it. I like Doctor Who, right? And recently I just started rewatching old episodes of Doctor Who because when I do, it makes me feel good. I just feel good. I don't care that I've seen it already 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. Just watching this show instead of, say, watching things on YouTube that might aggravate me or looking at a news feed that might annoy me. I could just watch Doctor Who and just be chill. That's it. I just get chill from it. And it makes it so that now I'm not feeding that monster anymore. I'm not fixing anything. I'm not like, let me watch YouTube videos about how to fix this thing that's bothering me. I don't have to do that. I could just watch my show or talk to that friend, that good friend, not the complaining friend, right? Talk to that good friend. This is the first comment. Jesus. Okay, we're going to be here a while, right? And just sort of like by not feeding it, you're just gonna rise. Abraham says if you stop holding that cork under the water, it's just gonna float to the top, right? And that's what this is. If you stop feeding the monster, it's gonna starve. Okay, where am I? Hector said LOL. Kelly says, as a woman, I can't leave my head trash to a man to take out. Okay, so I suppose sanitation worker. That's what they're called. Thank you. Maybe fitting. Yes. If I left that job to a man, the garbage would never leave. Just being politically correct and sexist all in one odd comment. There you go. Good for you. You said to comment the whole time, so your fault this happened. Okay. Very good. Robin, hi. Hello, Bobby, and hello, fellow heartists. See, Hector, that's how you say hello on this show. Thank you, Robin. and the hearts, and no flowers today, but okay. Hey, I don't know who this is. Let's find out. Who said hey? Hey, Crimson. Jason. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Jason posted was that a trailer to your play? It was amazing, dude. That was really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot. I'd like to see that movie. That was really cool. So Jason said, hey, Jason, there's a link to the, I'll tag you in it later, don't worry about it. Otherwise, if you don't click the link and give this thing permission, all I see is Facebook user, so I'll let you know about it later. Crimson, hi, how are you? Hey everyone, strangers included. Strangers are just people you have not been introduced to yet. Yeah, that's great when that's how you feel, but when you don't, strangers are bad. No, but I know exactly what you mean. By the way, I have overcome my fear of strangers thing. I can talk to anybody, but it's just like at stores, I don't like asking for help. I don't know why. I know that I don't. I don't really know why I don't. I don't think it's a stranger issue. I think it's a I can do it issue. So I can't fix everything. So at once anyway. I'll fix it eventually. It's hard to make the unconscious conscious. Yeah, the unconscious. What does he mean by that? The unconscious is that part of us that's the programming. It's the head trash. It's the stuff that is there and dictates and defines you, but you don't always know it's there. When you don't even know it's there and it's just doing its thing, that's unconscious. When you're aware that it's doing its thing, that's conscious. And it can still work because you're just like, I'm doing that thing, and you're doing it, or you're thinking it, or it's making you feel or think a certain way. So knowing that it's there and you're conscious of it, that's the hardest part, I think, because now you can take these steps, but you can't take these steps against something you don't even know is there. Thanks for that, Nathan. Robin says, yes, that is the biggest head trash. No, you cannot be an artist. Oh, this is when I said it might be that you're not a good enough artist, right? Yeah, that you can't be an artist. It's too risky. It's too hard, too impossible. You'll starve. You can't support yourself. No, you can't do it. No. I'm not going to read the rest of these. Yes, the impossible dream, right? Is that it came came from the people who loved you the most, right? And these people are well-meaning, and sometimes it makes me wonder, like, what head trash my children have gotten from me because I was trying to teach them something that I thought was important, and now they've taken it and transmuted it into some crappy lesson that's going to be their head trash. I had to come to grips with the fact that no matter what I did, I was probably going to give my kids head trash. I think every parent does it, and I don't know that you can avoid it, but yes, too bad. Sucks for them. Comes from the people you love the most and the people who should have loved you the most. Should have loved you the most. Which made it so powerful. The most powerful head trash that affected me in my head and my heart. I had to fight all by myself to stand up, to believe in myself all by myself. I had to fight through all these doubts by myself. The worst head trash for an artist to have to fight. Yeah, that's why I do a lot of daily fuels on self-worth and confidence and this the ability to see yourself as valuable. That right there is what most head trash is telling you are not enough. It'll take many, many forms, but that's basically what head trash is. It's that programming in your head that says you're not enough. That one's better, that one's better, that one's better, your thing stinks, right? And you can overcome levels of it and then find new levels of it. But you know what? I think that might actually be one of the points of life is to kind of like come here with baggage and then figure out how to get through it with that baggage anyway. Because when we're in Source Energy Land, we don't have any of this stuff, and we don't have to deal with any of this stuff. So we're like, I wish life was more challenging. You ever play a game like as an adult, when you play a kid game with a very little kid, like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, and it's like, the challenge is to lose. Right? It's like I have to lose so that you don't have a temper tantrum. And the challenge is to lose because you're just like, this is just ridiculously easy. So those games are just way too easy. Like when you do a jigsaw puzzle for a kid that's got like 7 pieces or 8 pieces, and you're just like, oh my God. That's what life is like for Source, So it's like, well, let me put one hand behind my back and close my eyes and then go do it. And now it's hard. So, and here we are. We don't have all of our Source powers at the palm of our hand. We have them, but we have to remember to use them. And sometimes we have to relearn how to use them. And that's what adds the challenge to life. And without it, I guess it would be boring. I could be wrong. Kelly says, it's like if we only have so much room in our head for beliefs, like a forest with only so much room for however many trees. And we start cramming new ones in, making them really strong and deep. Wait. I got lost on the however. I thought you were going to, I saw the however ahead of time, and I thought you were going to but this instead, but there wasn't that kind of however. And then I was completely confused. I'm going to start this comment over. Kelly says, it's like if we only have so much room in our head for beliefs, like a forest with only so much room for however many trees, and we start cramming new ones in, making them really strong and deeply rooted by repetition of the new belief. I knew that was going to happen. The old ones will start rotting and turn to compost. Plant new trees and the dead ones will fall. Oh, okay. So this is when I was talking about reducing crappy thoughts. I don't know where I was when you wrote this comment. So if the head trash is like trees in the forest and you start just planting new trees, I guess this would be the practice new thoughts, right? If you can practice new thoughts, if you can plant new trees in your forest of your head, I like this analogy, and stop tending, let's think of it as a garden. How about this? If you, I can't add to your tree thing, Kelly, but I can think of it as a garden. If you have plants in your garden, the ones that you feed are the ones that are going to grow. The ones that you fertilize, the ones that you water, the ones that you take care of. They're the ones that are going to grow and prosper. And if you're tending to the garden, the weeds won't be able to grow. The weeds being the head trash in this case, right? The weeds won't be able to grow. But when you're not tending to your garden, the weeds kind of just take over naturally. I find that interesting because it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that if you stop tending to your garden yourself, that the weeds just naturally take over. That could just be part of this game, like I said, because that's really a part of what entropy is this natural chaos in the world, that if you're not tending to something, it will fall apart. It will dematerialize. It will degrade. It will disintegrate. And if you're not paying attention to your garden, then the weeds will grow and your plants won't. And when you're hungry and you go out there to harvest, there won't be anything to harvest because it'll all be weeds. So the idea is to spend a little time. You don't have to go out there and start pulling every weed out. But if you're putting a little more energy into the good plants, now in a garden it doesn't work that way. You have to pull every weed out. But in your mind, in your heart, in your spiritual self, you don't have to pull every weed out. You don't have to hunt them down and find them and spray them and kill them and throw them. You don't have to do anything to them. You can put all your energy and attention into the good plants that you want. The weeds will die. That might not happen in your backyard garden or your farm or something, but it'll happen in here. Good. Thanks for that one, Kelly. I turn the why me to try me. Ooh, that's cool. What does he mean by that? Why me? Why is this happening to me? Right? I'm taking it as, instead of saying why me, saying try me. Try me, right? Come at me, bro. That kind of a thing. Is that what you mean? Or I can handle this. So, something more affirmative. One second. I'm glad I got that. I only had a little bit of water and then I ran upstairs to get more. I'm glad I did. Robin says, yes, you are in a mood today, but you know what? I like it. Thank you. I like it too. I'm going to just assume this is Jason. Idiosyncratic. I'm sure that made total sense when you said it, but I don't know what I was talking about when you said that. So, Nathan, I love this, Nathan. Turn why me into try me. I love it. Nathan, Robin likes your comment. Crimson says, I practice daily gratitude and I started listening to subliminal messages at night to help adjust my programming. That's cool. I do that too. I've mentioned this before. I keep my earbuds in and I listen to an 8-hour thing. It's on YouTube. And I listen to lots of different ones. But I like it. It helps. If I wake up and I hear it going, it reminds me to stay focused and not just, you ever wake up and your brain just starts thinking of all the crap of your life and stuff like that by habit. It reminds me to not do that. It reminds me to practice new thoughts or at least reduce the crappy ones. Good, Crimson. I think this is Jason. Jeez, man. Holy cow. Hang on a second. Who is this? No, that's the wrong way. Hey, I practice. This is Jason. Yeah, okay. Jason says, the shadows walk with me, speaking dreams of things I cannot see. Touch them with my hand, feeling something I don't understand. Drowning every day, breathless tears, I've walked away from everything that's real, razor sharp, and a jagged pill. From everything that's real, razor sharp, and a jagged pill, I'm falling into darkness. She's calling out my name. I'm falling. There's a new life dawning, and believe me when I say, I've seen the other side, purple flames that reach up to the sky. Rippling ponds of gold, reflecting clouds inside me that I hold them close to me. When will I truly be free? Free to live as someone, something's changed, it has begun. I'm falling into darkness. She's calling out my name. I'm leaving. I'm no longer breathing, and I have never felt so sane. The emptiness inside makes me feel like part of me has died. Felt this once before when demons stood outside my door. I feel it once again, but this time it's just like a friend that burns the candle at both ends. That's cool. Do you write that? I don't think anyone's ever written a poem in the comments before. So bonus points for you there. That was cool. Thanks for not giving me stanzas or anything to make it really hard to find the rhythm there. It took me like 5 lines even though it was a poem. Head trash monster, brilliant concept. Unless that's just how it looked on mine. For all I know, I'll look on Facebook later. It'll be perfect, and it'll just be that Ecamm messed up the whole damn thing. It's okay, dude. I'm a pro. You're not gonna try me. 21 days. Yeah, 21 days is great too. The reason I said 7 is because it's really short, and it's not. I wasn't saying if you do it for 7 days it'll become a new habit, because that's like the 21-day thing. The 7-day thing was just to show you that you're not going to be dead if you don't do that thing for a week. You're not going to be dead, and you can go back to it if you're finding out that maybe that wasn't the thing. I'm allowed to go back to it. This isn't forever. So that was my thinking. But yeah, pick whatever number you want. Kelly. I'm putting Oscar the Grouch in my head on a diet. There you go. No more trash. Only letting in healthy foods and less junk. Maybe once his microbiome evens out, he won't be so grouchy anymore. Let's play with that idea for a minute. The microbiome, right? What does she mean by that? That's when you have like I don't know what she means by that, but you know what a microbiome is. It's like it's the living organisms in the garbage. It might not even be just the piles of trash, but then there's the living things, the bacteria and the bugs. Right? I'm not going to list gross things, but you know what I'm talking about. And if you can introduce a healthier microbiome, it might eat up the garbage. That's another way to think about this, a different metaphor. Kelly, you're helping me with the metaphors today. Thanks. Introduce different chemicals, different microorganisms into your thinking? What could a microorganism be? This is what I was saying with start small. It doesn't have to be where I am now going to excavate this entire landfill and turn it into a park. You don't have to do that. It could be that I'm going to introduce some smaller thoughts that are just going to permeate throughout the whole thing. And over the course of a week, a month, a year, a decade, it's going to completely revitalize this entire head of mine. But it starts small. It can start very, very small. Just new thoughts, a new thing. Or reducing that thing you do that calibrates you to the crap. Don't talk to that person. Don't answer the phone when it rings. If you don't want to talk, you can answer the phone if you want. I'm just saying, like, if you don't want to talk to somebody and they called you on the phone, if you look at your phone when it rings and go, ugh, you don't have to answer it. You're not going to get struck by lightning. All right, you can even if you know, like, if I don't call this person back, it's going to be a worse problem. You don't have to answer it the second they call. You can be like, all right, I have to call this person now. I have to talk to this person now. I have to deal with this thing. I can't ignore it, right? Okay, maybe, but I'm not required to answer it right this second on their terms. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to calm, connect with my source energy. Here's something I say. If I ever have to talk to somebody that I am worried this might be a less than comfortable conversation, I say this thing where my source energy being is going to talk to theirs. My inner being is going to talk to their inner being now. We're going to have a conversation of inner beings right now. And I might not answer the phone just because they called me, right? I don't know. Could be an annoyed client or somebody who's bugging me or whatever. Doesn't matter who it is or what the situation is. I don't want to talk to them right now, so I don't answer the phone when they call. But I know I can't ignore this and just never talk to them again. So I'm going to call them back in 5 minutes, or I'll call them back tomorrow. I'll call you tomorrow. I'm busy. Bye. Right? And then when it's time to call them back, now it's on my time, and I can get myself into that good state of mind. And I say, my inner being is going to have a conversation with their inner being. And when I set that stage, most of the time, the conversation is pleasant. When the ego sets the stage, it's, oh my God, they're going to bug me about that thing. And then they pick up the phone like, did you do the thing? No, I didn't do the thing yet. And now you're just bickering with each other because nobody's inner being is even in this conversation. They're like, you see what they're doing? You don't want to do that. You want your inner being to talk to their inner being. Sometimes you need to not answer the phone and think about that for a little while and get yourself to that place, and then call them back. Hello, awesome Bobby and all great spiritual artists here today. All right, I'll allow it. Very good. Thank you. I am a silly man. When your unconscious is not conscious, you cannot fix it. Yeah, it's hard to fix something you don't know is broken or that you don't even know exists. You can't take garbage out that you can't see, right? That's what that means. Good one, Robin. Crimson says, lately when I ask people how they're doing and they say, okay, I can't complain, I just laugh and say, oh, I can complain, but I'm not going to because what good will that do? Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of people like to complain about things. A lot of people like to joke about things, but if you really are honest with yourself, a lot of times when you're having small talk with people, like, hey, how you doing? Oh, okay, you know, same old shit, different day, blah blah blah, right? It might not be like, oh my God, life is terrible and we're all gonna die. It might not be like that bad, right? But it's also not anything uplifting. It's just now you're kind of like calibrating yourself to mundane crap. I'll never forget, I heard Bob Proctor once say, I don't know if I read it or I saw it in a video, it doesn't matter. But he said, I don't like small talk, right? You like go to a party or something like that, or you're hanging out with people and you meet new people and it's like, well, what do you do for a living? I do this and da, da, da. And you're all talking and no one's saying anything, right? He's like, I prefer big talk because that kind of elevates everybody's spirits and brings us to this place of learning something. Or now, sometimes it's not possible to be like, hey guys, let's talk about the new physics theories or, you know, some other big thing that you might like. That's what I would like. But but small talk is just, it kind of just, it's calibrated to very low energy. Even if it's not negative, just low mundane energy can just kind of add weight to you that just kind of brings you down. This feeling of, wow, everything in this world is just boring. When one thing is boring, that's not a big deal. But when 10,000 things are boring, suddenly the whole world is boring. And it's like, what's the point of this? Everything is just lame and nothing ever changes. Everybody's doing the same shit, right? And it just kind of, like, everybody's just coasting along. You haven't seen somebody. Have you ever had a friend or somebody that you hadn't seen, not like a great friend where you click, like, oh my God, it's like I haven't seen you in 5 years and it was like I saw you yesterday. Like, that's great, right? But when you see those people that it's like, I haven't seen you in a while, a long time. And when I do see you, we always say hello, even though I don't really love you or anything like that, right? But then it's like, so like, what's going on? What's new? What's new? And they're like, nothing. It's like, dude, I have not seen you in 8 months, 2 years, whatever, and nothing is new in all that time. And the reason people say that is because either nothing is new and life for them is just this straight line of boringness, or they have this head trash that they're afraid to express. Like, I'm doing this new thing. I started taking these classes. Unless it's I got married or I had a kid or something like that. Like, no, everyone's afraid to say what's new. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but when we have this small talk, it just sort of amplifies this mundaneness to things. This is why head trash doesn't have to be negative stuff. It could just be boring. And boring adds up. That's my point. Hector, would you say this is hacking into your belief system? Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Because I'll use the programming analogy a lot. You have this program that maybe somebody else wrote and implanted into your head as a child, as an employee, as a this or that, right? It doesn't matter at what point, somebody of some kind of authority to you, or your friends, your peer group, people that you admired or wanted to emulate in some way, anybody, when you were susceptible to it, you took on this programming and put it in your head and believed it. And now you're hacking the program. So if that's an analogy that you like, go with it. Hack the program. You don't have to know what the program is to hack it, though. You can just write a new program, right? Imagine a hacker who was like, well, I don't know how to get into the system and change the code of this program, but I do know how to write a program that will override any existing programs. So write that one. Hack it. Thanks. You're welcome. I can't read this. You got to give me shorter essays, dude. I'll read this later. I can't even see it on my screen. I like Nathan's statement, why me and to try me, so much because when people hear some of my ideas and hear about what I want to do and they doubt me or act like I'm crazy to even dare think I can do or accomplish it, I think to myself, just watch me, just try me, right? Like, yeah, you're taking it as a dare. And the thing I like about it too, Robin, is that it's not a negative thing if you can take it as a personal dare to yourself. Like, I can do this. Try me in that sense is I can do this statement. It's not fighting words because you're not going to kick them if they say it again. That's what I was thinking when I heard his words, my interpretation. Good. Crimson Rose, laughs and hearts. Nathan, boy, you guys are trying to kill me today. Most regions of the brain had 5 million magnetite crystals per gram of tissue. The tough membrane that covers the brain had 100 million crystals per gram. Each human brain on average contains 7 billion particles of magnetite, weighing a total of 1/millionth of an ounce of magnetite present in its crystalline form throughout the human brain, with particularly high concentrations in the cerebellum and the brainstem. Moreover, it's highly likely that this magnetite is produced within our cells. Magnetite is one of the most magnetic substances on the planet. and allows us to detect the electromagnetic field of the Earth, acting as our own inner compass. Wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that magnetite was a thing. That's really interesting. So it's the most magnetic. So if you think about magnetism in an energy sense, that could be the literal physical component within our physical bodies that is attracting the energy. So what are you attracting? What are you doing? Imagine this. I'm going to take that a step further. Imagine that magnetite is the stuff that attracts stuff to you, right? And whatever you're thinking and feeling is what activates the magnetite. So are you thinking stuff over on this side, the good stuff, or the stuff over on this side, the bad stuff, right? What do you think? Usually this is the bad side. Are you thinking the bad stuff or the good? Doesn't matter. You're thinking whatever, right? So what are you thinking? What are you calibrating to? Is it the this stuff? Is it the this stuff? Is it the this stuff? You know? That's what gets that magnetite activated. That's cool. I like that. And now it's like a physical thing in your head that is attracting. That's cool. I like that. Thanks, Nathan. Robin. You guys are allowed to write shorter comments, just so you know. It's allowed. When there are too many mundane things filling your life, then that does not leave much room for all the miraculous, amazing things that can happen in your life. If you just allow enough opportunity for those experiences to be experienced. Because when you are in tune with the universe and the universe is in tune with you, the most amazing things happen. Yeah, right? Yeah, absolutely. I like that, Robin. In tune with the universe. I recently discovered that being asked, "How are you?" is a trigger for my ego, victim mentality, head trash, to find things to complain about. Isn't that interesting? That might be crazy, but it's true for me. No, I don't think it's crazy. So now I run the risk of being considered rude by sometimes just not answering until I'm in a better feeling place. Or if I'm in a good place, I'll use it as an opportunity to water my garden with gratitude and sometimes make the person uncomfortable by enthusiastically sharing how fucking awesome everything is. Less people ask how I am now, and I am totally okay with it. You know what? Let's add what you just said to what I just said before. We're going to combine these two things, right? The answering the phone thing. I'm going to try to make this quick because I know I'm babbling today. People say, "How are you?" Okay, so when would people say, "How are you?" Maybe if you answered the phone, or maybe if you saw them in person. But either way, you'd have to be in a position that you put yourself in. So my suggestion would be, if you're going out and there's the possibility that you're going to see somebody that would say, "How are you?" or whatever your trigger is. I'm not speaking just to Kelly. You can pre-pave, right? Another Abraham word. You can beforehand say to yourself, my inner being is going to have conversations with the inner being of whoever I meet. I'm going to the store. I might just get in the car and go to the store without realizing there's a possibility I'm going to run into that neighbor or that person who's going to ask me, "How are you?" And now I'm in this mood and I'm working really hard not to complain. But of course, today is the day that I'm going to run into that person who's going to be like, "Oh, hi, how are you? What's going on? How'd that thing work out?" And it's like, I don't want to talk about that fucking thing, right? So don't go to the store. This is what your head trash does to you. It makes you go to the store where you're going to run into that person on the day that you don't want to run into that person. But you're not thinking of that person. All you're thinking is, "I need milk," or some shit, right? Don't go yet. Wait 5 minutes and say, wait a minute, wait. Before I get in the car and go to the store and run into this person, or the cashier asks me, "How are you?" and I go at them, let me just get in a space where if that were to happen, I'll be okay with it. At least now I am being aware of the possibility of it happening. And if it does happen, I will respond in this way. Right? I'll be like, I'll just say, "Oh, hey, nice to see you. Sorry, I don't know. I'm in a rush. I got to get this home." Right? I'll talk to you later. I'll call you. I'm not gonna. And, or again, if the phone rings and that person's going to ask, "How are you?" and it sets you off, you're not required to answer the phone. If you're at the store or something and the person's standing right there and they say, "How are you?" it's a little weird if you don't. I'll get back to you in 5 minutes when I've talk to my own inner being first. Thank you very much. You could do that if you don't care what they think about you, but maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. Magnetite allows us to levitate. Is that Jason again? I don't know. Yes. Magnetite allows us to meditate. Levitate. Does it? I don't know a lot about magnetite. That's cool. Thank you for the short comment. Robin, I hate that question, how are you? Because that opens a door to all kinds of stuff. I mean, why do people keep asking that question? Because it's small talk, Robin. It's they don't know what else to say, so they say, how are you? What's new? What's going on? It's just a way of saying, well, you're here in front of me. I have to be pleasant with you. I can't ignore you because that's weird. I don't have the self-worth to just be like and walk away from you. So I'm going to stand here and subject you and me to this conversation that clearly neither one of us wants to have. How are you? Sometimes you do want to talk to that person, but you don't always get to pick when it is if you run into them or you see them at a thing. But if you know you're going somewhere, there are going to be people there. So be prepared to maybe say hello to somebody. You don't know who's also going to be there. But again, with the phone, you don't have to answer the phone. Don't knock on my door, because I swear to God, I will not be happy when I answer it. My front door. Unless I know you're coming. I hate that question. I mean, why do people keep asking that? I think it's mostly something they think is polite. Yes. But it's crazy. I always feel like a deer in headlights kind of thing. Why is that? I think, Robin, it's also because people like us, we're trying to calibrate to something higher. Imagine it this way. We are working on thoughts and things to focus on and things to do in our lives that are moving us up a ladder of on the emotional scale. I'm trying to get to love and joy and appreciation all the time. And most human beings live their lives in this mundane, middle of the road thing. So when they see you, they don't know anything other than to say, hey, what's up? How are you? What's going on? And you know, to you, that's like, oh God, dude, I have to look at you now. You are literally like 15 rungs down this ladder. I am not climbing down there to talk to you. 30 rungs is I'm depressed and I need help. But 15 rungs is like, yo, what's up? It's boring. And I don't want to go down there. I'm working on this. And I don't feel like telling you about this because you're going to look at me like I got 6 heads and I don't want to explain it to somebody who's not already up here with me. So I'll just go to the Facebook group and I'll talk to them. Right? That's why, Robin, because it's lower than us emotionally. Not value-wise. They're all human beings and spiritual people on their own human adventures. Everybody has value. But some people are living on an emotional scale that is lower than you. And when you run into them, you can feel that difference. And you don't want to go down there. Nope, I read that. How are you helps me reflect. Okay, that's a good thing. We could all do this. If you run into somebody and they say, how are you? You could literally take it as a moment to reflect inwards and be like, how am I? Actually, you know what? Thanks. Because I've been in my head. I've been here in the store for the last 20 minutes in my head. Not even realize. I've been unconscious. I've just been walking around. And now here you are, friend. Thank you. How are you? I haven't been asking myself that. How am I? Let me do a quick inner check. I don't give a shit if you think I'm weird. Let me do a quick inner check. I'm great. I'm all the way the fuck up here. How are you? That's all you got to say. Good, man. Jason says, magnetite is a mineral and one of the main iron ores with the chemical formula of that. It is one of the oxides of iron and it is very magnetic. It's attracted to a magnet and can be magnetized to become a permanent magnet itself. That's interesting. It is the most magnetic of all the naturally occurring minerals on Earth. Thank you for that. That's I like stuff like that. I don't know if everybody else does, but I don't care. It's my show. What the fuck is it's the way they start the convo. Yeah. But you can do what Nathan said and just realize that they're lower than you and you don't have to answer them on their level. You can answer them on your level. Or you can not even answer them and just use it as a moment of self-reflecting. How am I? That's a good question. Hadn't thought of that in the last 5 minutes or 5 days or 5 years. Let me do that now. I'm good. Thanks. I'm good now. You got me out of this weird haze I was in that I didn't even realize I've been walking around like a zombie for the last 5 minutes. Now I'm back conscious of what I'm doing. Thanks a lot. But this is what I see. I literally can't read this with my back to the bone. Is this the cannibalistic stench from the rotting, unpicked flesh between the teeth of the overseers? All right, I'm going to read this later because this looks cool. You know, is this a poem? What is reality? I don't think this is like a regular comment. Dude, you can post these in the group as like their own posts if it's a poem. I'm sorry, I can't read that whole thing on the live. But I mean, says Robin, that question just takes my effort away from what I'm trying to accomplish to stop and answer that boring question. Oh, okay. All right. I guess what Nathan was saying, though, is that you don't have to now use their asking you this question as an excuse to not be in your power place. People are going to do things. The light's going to turn red just as you're reaching it, and you got to stop the car. You know, it's like, oh, fuck, I was doing great until the light turned red. You know, or I was doing fine until you asked me that question, how are you? You don't have to use them as an excuse to now not feel good anymore. You can just bypass it and be like, well, all right, clearly you're there. I'm up here, so I'm just going to be like, I'm great, thanks, gotta run. Whatever. I give up. I've been replaced. Facebook user has written longer than me. Yeah, please don't make this a contest. I can't. Anyway, guys, let's be done. Wow, this was a long one. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really, really, really appreciate it. We're over the hour mark. Wow, that's cool. I like when that happens. I like the energy of these things. Thanks very much for hanging out with me. Kelly wants the booby prize, apparently. I love and appreciate each of you here for this depth of conversation. Especially you, Sir Bobby. Thank you. But especially everyone else, too. It can't be both especiallys. It's especially me or it's especially everybody else. Pick one. Me. We are all excellent sanitation servicers. Okay, good. I like that. And Crimson wants the booby prize. For me, I'm just in a place where I'm aware of how my thoughts, words, and actions are affecting everything. Good. That's awesome. If you can be in that place, then people asking you mundane things can't bring you down. If you can be in that place, then getting the phone call from that person can't knock you off your pedestal. It's not about being somewhere and never coming down. It's not about being... Let me start over. It's not about... Imagine like that thing with the ball and the board, right? So imagine that's us in life and we're trying to balance on this board. It's not about being perfectly balanced on that board. It's about sometimes you lose your balance, but you get it back again. And sometimes you lose your balance again and you get it back. And sometimes somebody comes over and whacks you in the kneecap with a stick and you get it back. You don't have to get off of it and fight them. You know what I mean? You don't have to fall on the ground and be like, that's it, I'm never getting up on that ball again. You get it back. Life is always going to throw things at you. Some of them are going to be mundane bullshit things, and some of them are going to be hard things. But you get it back. Crimson, you can have the booby prize today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. Jason, you're kind of new to this, so at the end, the last comment on my screen gets the booby prize. I send it in the mail every day, so look for your mail. See you later. Bye-bye.